everyone is still kind of having fun. Everyone is friendly. It's a friendly spirit of competition here as we get underway. Players are drawing their opening hands for round 12.
Round 12 action. Both these players had a very solid match record. Looks like Zach did win the coin flip. Opting to go first. It's a big time deal in this matchup because the first person to really get a Trinity Nova off will almost always be ahead. There are cards that can mess up, like Sharon's Care to heal. Both of these players are playing that one copy of Sharon's Care. Can become two with something like the Pal Pad, but if you are getting into that back and forth loop of I'm going to Sharon's Care, you're going to Sharon's Care, back and forth, the first person to deal damage will eventually win that war of attrition.
Yeah, and that's another kind of interesting thing as we continue to break down the Arceus list. We've talked a lot about how Arceus is a lot of different variants, the Darkness type variants, this sort of deck, the deck with Beedrill, of course. But even within kind of, not thinking even about what variant you're playing, just in Arceus decks, there's a lot of differences that you can decide to play in the list. We've seen players with one copy or two copies of Sharon's Care, like you were saying, potential Marnie counts are really important. So a lot of innovation and difference in all these lists. As we go ahead and take a look at the prizes, looks like these are Travis's prizes.
Yeah, big deal there that Shady Dealings and Teleon being prized. It's at the bottom of the prizes, so not the biggest deal. Sharon's Care, though, at the bottom could be a big deal if Travis wants to play a bit more passively and try to prioritize healing in this matchup. You usually want to be taking prizes, but you have to keep in fact that the baby Moltres, that Galarian Moltres, hits harder for every prize card you take, and that could be maybe a strategy one of these players wants to go to of purposely go behind it first, then utilize the Moltres to deal enough damage. If there's one prize card remaining, that's 270 damage. There's a lot of damage modifiers like the Galarian Zigzagoon, Choice Belt, the quick shooting Inteleon. There are a lot of options in order to apply pressure and get the math needed, but we're getting ready to kick things off here. Round number 12, let's get into the action. Very nice start right off the bat for Zach, starting that Arceus. Not the best starter for Travis, though, that Zigzagoon. And Zach getting down that very important turn one attachment. We'll see if there's anything else to complement the rest of this hand.
Yeah, Arceus kind of the ideal starter, especially going first in this matchup. As you said, that quite beautiful Darkness energy there gets attached. We immediately see a quick ball discarding a Professor's Research, and as we've seen so much during this format, the turn one quick ball gets the turn one Sobble. Just a really important part of all of these decks. The Inteleon line is really what makes them function, and throughout this tournament, I think we're going to see a lot more turn one quick balls for Sobble.
Just typical things here, just prize checking through the deck, making sure some of those key pieces like the Double Turbo Energy, Pal Pad, Clara, a lot of these one-of cards. There are a list of one-ofs to quick fire through. A copy of Big Charm as well is a big deal potentially on the first turn of the game to make sure that there's some aggressive boss's orders play onto an Arceus. That could definitely come into effect. But getting Sobbles down is important. This is the backbone of your engine. Shady Dealings allows this deck to function, find specific pieces, get things rolling, and we're just going to see Zach signal over the pass. Travis has got to get something together. Great start, though. Top decks the Arceus. You really wish you started that, but being able to at least get energy down is a great start to kick things off.
Yep, now we do see the Arceus hit the bench. That capture energy here being activated. Going to go ahead and find a basic, and I would have to imagine, I don't know the rest of Travis's hand, but similar to kind of the quick ball conversation we just had, I'd have to imagine it's going to be a Sobble as well. It will just kind of depend on exactly the makeup of Travis's hand and how he wants to kind of go and play the rest of these, the early opening turns of this game. We see pulling an Arceus to the front as well. Again, both players on their opening deck search are just going to take a little bit extra time and determine what their prizes are, make sure they know all the tools they're working with, and he has settled on that second Arceus.
I like this Arceus grab for multiple reasons. To start, it makes sure that you will, at minimum, have a backup Arceus V-Star potentially able to come online if for some reason Zach has a combination of boss's orders plus either a Choice Belt and a Zigzagoon to deal enough damage, as this hand is actually very weak. Just the capture energy in the past, no Drizzile or Sobble down, no supporter card, and Zach is getting right to things. Arceus V-Star, very likely going to see a Starbirth this turn to get the pieces necessary to, at minimum, take a knockout, if not apply some pressure onto these V Pokemon.
Yeah, it's a very, very telling sign when the player going second does not play a supporter card. You see Travis just attach, get that Arceus V, and pass back. So the capture energy was really the best thing he's going to be doing with his turn. And as you said, Zachary is capitalizing on this opportunity. Arceus V-Star, we see the V-Star marker immediately get flipped. That's going to be a Starbirth. That's going to be two cards, any two cards that Zachary wants from the deck into the hand. And this is just a massive advantage at this point.
Yeah, the 2 cards grabbed look like Double Turbo, and I believe I was eyeing up Drizzile and a supporter. It looks like eyed up the Marnie as well. If there were maybe a couple more pieces in this hand, like a way to get a Choice Belt down and access to the Zigzagoon, things could have maybe been a little bit better. The fact that both of them are in deck does signal that that was a possibility, but going to disrupt the hand. Travis maybe sitting on Arceus V-Star. I think really wants to just try to find something like a path to the peak, but actually looking at this list, not opting to play that, instead just opting for the 1 copy of Training Court to just be able to get energies over and over again, but does find the big charm, and that could be a big deal if another Arceus comes down into play this turn.
Yeah, so it's kind of, it feels, sometimes it can feel kind of weird to reset your opponent's hand that you know doesn't have a lot going on with the Marnie, but Zachary just decided, you know, this is what I need to do, and now it's paying off for him. He gets the Drizzile, Shady Dealings again, does find that big charm. We're going to see another quick ball. Looks like Dunsparce hitting the discard pile off of that, and now Zachary's saying, I want a second Arceus of my own. You know, I want this kind of backup attacker here. And we're going to see another level ball. A lot of golden, a lot of max rarity cards out of Zachary's deck. You always got to appreciate that.
Absolutely. I think every card may actually just be the maximum rarity on the list, even utilizing the new Arceus V promo that just released in that box collection coming out recently. So representing all the new artworks, only grabbing 2 Darkness Energy off of that Trinity Nova. First prize here taken for Zach. Going to go out to 5 prize cards. That could be a telltale sign. I do know that a few energy are in the prize cards, but they are towards the top, so I'm not going to have access to those off of this first prize card, as we'll be able to get some more cards to get the ball rolling the following turn. Looks like got that Sobble there off the prize cards.
Yeah, importantly, did not hit that Sharon's Care, so that 1 single copy of that powerful supporter is still stuck in the prizes, so Zachary won't have access to that for quite a while. As we pass back to Travis with a brand new hand. Travis in his own right also playing a lot of high rarity cards here. We see the Ultra Ball, so the Marnie, it looks like, I didn't quite make out the rest of the hand, but it seems like the Marnie kind of has turned this hand on. Of course, that Ultra Ball can be turned into any Pokemon, which is going to be that Arceus V-Star, that Starbirth V-Star power. Lets you search your deck for any 2 cards, so we're going to see that kind of turn on this turn, and really now both players are kind of firing on all cylinders. You know, we see level ball hit the Sobble, and now that V-Star marker gets flipped. What do you think Travis is looking for off this Starbirth here?
I have to imagine you're looking for that double turbo energy at minimum, and then maybe another way to get a card into the hand. Maybe something like the Big Charm to protect that Arceus on the bench. Has not played a supporter either yet this turn, so very likely to grab something like a Marnie or maybe a Research to draw through the deck a little bit more. But it looks like going to opt to grab the double turbo energy. Couldn't quite make out the other card. We're going to see it very shortly, as last 2 cards remaining in hand are that Quick Ball and the Sobble. So could maybe grab a card to pitch away with the Quick Ball, but it seems pretty unlikely, as it is actually going to be that Research. No supporter played yet. This is looking like an excellent turning for Travis in response to Zach finding the knockout turn 2 on the Zigzagoon.
Yep, and there is the Professor's Research. As you said, Sobble hits the board, double turbo energy, gets attached to the active, and now a fresh 7 cards, a second Arceus V-Star set up here. It looks like a second Sobble is also going to join the bench. So after a very lackluster turn 1, Travis Beckwith is right back into this game. Quick Ball discards Manaphy, not super relevant in this matchup. And let's see what this Quick Ball actually hits. Is it going to be the 3rd Arceus?
Third Arceus could be pretty solid. You could also save the bench spot, maybe get down another Sobble, try to establish these lines to have very nice protection against them, like a disruptive Marnie. We do know that 1 copy has already been played, so we'll have to utilize Palpad to get it back, but we usually see Palpad bring back these more niche supporters used in certain situations, like Boss's Orders, like Clara, like the Sharon's Care. So I'm not having access to that right now, but it looks like eyeing up the Arceus V. I like this play, being able to spread energies around. It makes your Sharon's Care targets. Ooh, tongue twister there. Makes it a little bit easier, but Trinity Nova is a great way to apply some damage, get some energy in play. That's what we're going to be seeing a lot in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see, similar to Zachary's last turn, we see the Arceus V, not the V-Star, just the V, hit the bench with a Big Charm on it, and now we're seeing that Trinity Nova, so Travis just needs to decide how he wants to spread these energies around. It looks like all 3 Darkness going on the benched Arceus V-Star, and Travis is the first to deal damage kind of to the main attackers here. 6 prizes to 5 remaining as we pass back to Zachary, and now the ball in his court action is on Zachary to make something happen.
Well, not much is going to happen here.
No, just a Sobble and then another Trinity Nova, just putting that 3rd Darkness energy from the deck onto the Arceus V.
And this is where not having access to Sharon's Care is a big deal, but this hand is not looking too solid. I don't know if Travis has a way to get out the Sharon's Care. I see a Marnie and a Clara in the hand. What's the top deck? Just a Galarian Moltres, and yeah, Travis may be forced to try and go in with another hand and also potentially bail Zach out of this poor hand with this Marnie.
Wow, so we see again, just testament to these players, how close they are, and just them being friends and playing the same list. Zachary's kind of showing Travis what's in his hand and then kind of talking it through. But yeah, we've seen this again. Marnie is usually a way to disrupt your opponent's hand. It's usually a way to say, okay, you have too many cards in hand, or I suspect you have too good of a hand, and I really need to. I want to put you on fewer cards. I want to kind of mess with what you're doing. But both plays of Marnie this game, we've seen actually maybe bail the other one out. Not sure what's in Zachary's hand, of course. He could have drawn just another poor hand, but definitely not the traditional way that you see Marnie played. As we see another Capture Energy get another Sobble.
Yeah, it looks like we are going to see Capture Energy grab out the Sobble. Looks like just discussing something to make sure everything is on the same page. Arceus is able to attack, so we'll be able to take the knockout. 2 prizes for Travis. Going to go ahead and take the lead. Eyeing up, looks like no energy there off the Trinity Nova. Hand does have some cards to work with for the following turns. I saw a Scoop Up Net and Evolution Incense, so we'll be able to start getting these Drizzles out. But I like the play to be a little bit more passive. This is going to be a big war of attrition later on in the game. You want to utilize his abilities as much as possible. And a very nice grab there. Finds the Shady Dealings Inteleon off the prize cards. Zach has the ability to take this knockout, even with just the Arceus V. Does not need to V-Star, but you're giving up the same amount of prizes regardless. It always feels better to be able to utilize this V-Star.
Right, and speaking of Shady Dealings, here's Shady Dealings of Zachary's own. That Drizzile evolves, and now we're going to search the deck for any one trainer card. And it's really going to come down to what's in Zachary's hand and how he wants to play out the next couple of turns. You can see him kind of considering, okay, what's in my hand? How am I going to use the cards in my hand? What do I want to get here with this Shady Dealings?
Evolution Incense, a very nice grab. Can go ahead and V-Star that Pokemon. I like the option to grab that. Could also potentially try the luck with a supporter card. I don't know what I exactly saw in hand. I think an Arceus V, maybe a few other unplayable cards, but it is actually going to be the Scoop Up Net to reutilize that Shady Dealings on the 3rd Sobble, and this may likely grab something like a Boss's Orders to get more aggressive. Or this turn, Research seems like a very fine grab, as you are going to be taking a knockout. You can't be pretty comfortable leaving these damaged Arceus in play, because Sharon's Care is a great target to just remove that damage, take away that turn of work that you put in.
Absolutely. So you see that kind of the combination of synergy between the Inteleon, Drizzile line, and Scoop Up Net. Just Zachary kind of getting 2 uses out of the Drizzile thanks to that Shady Dealings. Now we see an Arceus V hit the bench, immediately get an energy attached, and the Professor's Research drawing 7 new cards. So Zach really made use of all of his resources there. Supporter has been played. Looks like we're considering seeing a Pal Pad, but Zachary decides to actually wait, just take the knockout here. And like you said, Pal Pad happens to be mostly used for those kind of supporters that you play fewer of, that kind of you really want to have in the late game. Something like Boss's Orders even, but Marnies, things like that. So decides to hold it, just take the knockout. And now we do see Zachary take that Sharon's Care off the prizes. That could be big.
Yeah, that is probably the best card to take off the prizes. 2 energy being prized is still a little bit tough, but for Travis here, you got to be feeling pretty all right. Zach can just play around this, has access to 3 Boss's Orders, potentially 4 Boss's Orders during the game, so it'll be interesting to see what route Zach takes. But the ball's in Travis's court right now in this turn, as you see a Boss's Orders of Travis's own being eyed up. Because the Arceus V on the bench does not have a big charm, it is technically in range of being knocked out with something like a Zigzagoon in combination with a Choice Belt. The problem, or just a Choice Belt actually, because there's no double turbo energy, Choice Belt will do that. I was thinking, Zigzagoon's in the discard pile, you wouldn't be able to grab that out and play Boss's Orders in the same turn.
All right, so we are going to see, you see this happen a lot with players where it looks like Travis is actually thinking about what to get, thinking about this Evolution Incense is going to get a Drizzile, and then kind of shortcutting a little bit and thinking, okay, well, once I get the Drizzile, what am I going to get with my Shady Dealings here? You see that Boss's Orders pulled to the front. That could very reasonably be the card. There it is. That's the Drizzile, Shady Dealings.
Yeah, I think the one thing Travis is not too excited about is using the Scoop Up Net on a Drizzile instead of a fully evolved Inteleon. Again, having resources throughout the game, access to cards is a big-time deal. So the cards are there for Travis right now. The question just comes, do you want to make this investment at this point, or do you really want to try to wait? And it looks like even considering grabbing in Ultra Ball, but we're actually going to see some Drizzile chaining.
Drizzile chain.
Finding a level ball for Drizzile. I don't know if we're going to see another one get grabbed, but at minimum, trying to get these up so that these Inteleon lines can get fired off, especially with a scoop net in hand already. It's got to be a good grab for sure.
Yeah, it looks like that last Shady Dealings there is going to grab an Ultra Ball. Travis kind of considering, okay, is this exactly what I want to do? If so, what am I going to discard off of this? Just a lot of decisions every single turn. You know, that's one of the things about this Inteleon engine is it gives you, you know, an amazing power. Actually decides not to take the Ultra Ball, but it gives you this, you know, very, very powerful. No, actually, he's faking us all out to take the Ultra Ball anyway, but it gives you all these decisions, but those are real decisions. You know, you have to put real thought into them. It's not always easy, especially when you're in a tough spot like this versus a tough player that knows your exact 60 cards. It can be very difficult to figure out exactly what to do.
You see Trinity Nova, 200 damage, no damage reduction, no energies being accelerated, but things are going to start off for Zach. You do have the Sharon's Care, but the problem relies in this benched Arceus does need a double turbo energy this turn, or something like the energy switch to move the energies around. That could be a little quirky.
Yeah, normally it would kind of be a much more obvious play, but again, because of that energy situation, you need to have some way to mitigate it here. We do see the level ball find the Drizzile, so this could find the energy switch. It looks like Zachary is going for a little bit different of a play here. Going to go ahead, Fred, for the Evolution Incense and kind of do some Drizzile Inteleon chaining here. That Evolution Incense finds the Inteleon. Inteleon finds Ultra Ball, and there is that energy switch as you predicted.
Energy Switch, a great card, especially when you can combine it with other attackers like the Galarian Moltres with the Malevolent Charge as well, or even Malevolent Charge and then Energy Switch off of the Galarian Moltres. But Ultra Ball does have to discard 2 cards, but again, that beautiful Plasma Freeze artwork. I like the OG Gold Ultra Ball. It's definitely a very solid card.
Yes, I like, you know, it's the original. I really like original art carved cards, or at least the original fancy version. And then the gold is a little bit more subdued. You know, it's a little bit more my style. We do see that Ultra Ball find Inteleon. So now we have both Inteleons on the bench. And here is that energy switch. So it looks like we're going to end up seeing the play we talked about there, energy switch onto the bench Arceus. Here's a Sharon's Care just kind of saying, okay, well, you know, whatever you did last turn, Travis, at least insofar as it affects my board, is now gone. I'm putting all of those cards back in my hand. Here's the promotion of the Arceus V.
So there is the Arceus, there is the V-Star, and the energy attachment for turn. At this point, maybe considering, do I even play down another Arceus? And I actually like this play to not go for that line, to maybe try to weave in 2 baby Moltres for these last 2 prizes. Very smart that Zach understands. Let me save my energies for now. I'm going to opt to do this, but that kind of makes me wonder, if you're going for that Moltres plan later on, double turbo energy can still fulfill this requirement, and you also don't have to invest your energy switch, but there could be some math later on that Zach knows about, being able to deal the maximum amount of damage into this Arceus that could be relevant. So we will see 200 damage, and action's going to be back here on Travis.
Yeah, we did see also that 2 damage counters on that benched Arceus V from the quick shooting. So quick shooting Inteleon, not something you see quite as often as the Shady Dealings. You know, there's usually fewer of them in deck lists, and some deck lists just kind of omit it altogether. But it is going to ping away at some damage. We see, speaking of Inteleons, of course, Travis plays one of his own. That's the Shady Dealings Inteleon. I feel like we've been saying Shady Dealings, Inteleon, Drizzile all weekend, and I have a sneaking suspicion it's not going to stop anytime soon. 2 new trainer cards for Travis. It looks like he was eyeing up a Sharon's Care of his own. Again, both players with 1 copy of that very, very powerful supporter that really just, you know, has the effect of kind of, you know, erasing what your opponent did last turn and kind of resetting things.
Yeah, the board position is so different between both of these players. Zach has a pretty clear route to being able to win this game. Knock out one of these 1 prize Pokemon, maybe with his Arceus V-Star, and then eventually get yourself down to a single prize card in Galarian Moltres, especially in combination with a quick shooting or even a choice belt, will be more than enough to take a knockout onto any of these V-Star Pokemon. It'll be a little bit harder with the big charm, but it is still doable. I have seen Galarian Moltres take knockouts on a VMAX Pokemon. Card is just so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like Sharon's Care and Scoop Up Net are going to be found off of that Shady Dealings. So kind of both cards that are going to, you know, return some Pokemon to the hand, just kind of for very different reasons. So those are in Travis's hand there, just kind of getting rid of that confusion. Now we see the quick ball, and there it is, the star of the show, kind of what we've been talking about all day, the kind of tech attacker in this deck, that Galarian Moltres.
Does everything, powers itself up, hits for a lot of damage later on in the game. So currently, right now, is dealing 170 damage. Zach has taken 3 prize cards. So not a crazy high amount of damage, but there's a Sharon's Care. It's going to actually bring up the Inteleon. So this will signal a scoop up net in hand, and maybe in combination with this Galarian Moltres earlier on to try to force this prize race. As there it is, Malevolent Charge, 2 energies from the hand onto the Moltres. The scoop up net will allow not only this Inteleon to retreat, but it will also allow that line to be used again. We can even see it used this turn. I believe that Drizzile can maybe evolve one of these Sobbles that has come down. You got all these mixed evolution of what came down this turn, what came down last turn, but Palpad as well. Great to throw these supporters back in. Sharon's Care going to be that main one, of course.
Yeah, it looks like Boss's Orders might be the second, or Marnie actually, from Travis here. Again, just kind of saying, okay, well, now my 1 copy of Sharon's Care has become 2, so that's something you know that you have to deal with at any point in the game, especially as I have access to these shady dealings. So going to be a very big deal. And Marnie, again, just a perfectly timed Marnie can absolutely swing the course of a game. So what do you think about this play from Travis going in with this Galarian Moltres, kind of maybe a turn earlier than a lot of players would have?
The fact that there is damage on that Arceus V means that at any point during the game, Travis can pick it up once again with that Sharon's Care, so it's not as much of a liability as maybe it would look on paper as of right now. The Moltres is going to deal pretty much the same amount of damage to an extent the Arceus would be doing, except it's on a 1 prize Pokemon. It forces Zach to take prize cards on it instead of hitting into Arceus's and setting up math and applying quick shooting damage to maybe try to put something together. And that could maybe been what Zach was going for with something like a Choice Belt in combination with a quick shooting to then put it like a quick shooting and a scoop up net away from taking a knockout. So, and the energy retrieval as well, making its debut on stream.
Wow.
Able to recover some energies. Look at that Primal Clash artwork. I think I'm on a roll today. I've redeemed myself from EUIC when it comes to arts.
Yeah, went into the lab, the art studying lab, and you're not going to make that same mistake again. There is that Arceus V-Star evolving that Arceus on the bench. And of course, it does have the big charm as well as the capture energy and the darkness energy, of course. Now we're seeing that Fiery Wrath. As we pass back to Zachary here, a really heads-up play by Travis there, kind of using this. Oh, did you get it wrong?
I got it wrong. It was Ancient Origins.
Oh, okay, so close. I guess you're gonna have to do some more studying.
It was not good enough. I got to go back to the lab again, but still gonna be able to. It's the same thing as the Sword and Shield one, right? Same text, so we'll still get the energies back from the discard pile, which could be a big piece here. It's gonna make getting this next Moltres even easier when you have access to potentially a 4 energy recovery turn. 2 from the Clara, getting the Moltres back, and then 2 more from the discard pile, getting back the Dark Energy and Training Court as well. 5 energy in 1 turn getting recovered. That's almost all of your deck.
Yeah, it just really shows the power of this combination of cards here. Travis going to head and consult the discard pile of his opponent. Another really important thing, especially, I mean, at any point in a Pokemon, but especially when you're 100% sure on the counts of your opponent's list, you can go ahead and say, okay, well, I want to look at your discard pile and not just, assume that you might have X amount of any card, but I know that all of these cards have been used or that, you still have X amount remaining.
So Zach's still just considering the lines of play. What do you go for? What is the correct Pokemon to apply pressure on? You can go down to 2 prize cards. I like just taking the knockout and pretty much just saying to Travis, well, I'm going to go down to 2 prize cards. You knock this Arceus out, but I'm going to have my last 2 turns of the game to just hit very hard with Fiery Wrath over and over again for 220 and then 270 damage. I think that's going to be too hot for you to handle.
Yeah, it kind of puts Travis in the position where it's like, well, again, what are you going to do here? The game is not actually over. I don't know what options, are remaining, but it just really is showing off the power of that Galarian Moltres, powering itself up in just 1 turn.
Absolutely. We see the energy retrieval getting fanned to the top of the hand. That definitely is an option for sure. Has the Marnie as well, has the Shady Dealings and Inteleon still in hand. It feels pretty poor to put all these key pieces on the bottom of the hand. We see just the 3 getting grabbed. You can also utilize that Training Court to get back 1 more Darkness Energy. And even considering using some of these energies to pay for this Ultra Ball cost, Arceus is definitely going to be an easy one. But from there, maybe the research actually seems pretty simple.
Yep, very, very nice prediction there, Ethan. Ultra Ball. Going to go ahead and search the deck now. And there is that second copy of Galarian Moltres. A bunch of Darkness Energy in hand for Travis. And he is, basically ready to do what they built the deck to do. There's that Malevolent Charge. It is the energy attached from hand. And here's the Marnies, or here's the Disruptive Element we were talking about.
This is where Travis is pretty much saying, I'm going to apply as much pressure as I can this turn. I'm hoping that you don't have a scoop up net, as there are no Sobble in play, so no Drizzile Shady Dealings. At maximum, one ability will have to utilize a scoop up net, but Clara in combination with one other card. I don't quite think there's a Moltres in the discard pile yet for Zach. I don't feel like I remember seeing that hit the discard pile.
No,
but
I don't think so either.
yeah, so the manual will retreat actually because of that big charm on the Arceus. Arceus will not be attacking anytime soon.
No.
I'm going to get rid of a capture energy as well, an unrecoverable energy card. So there we go. Fire Rat taking the knockout. Travis going down to 2 prize cards. Choice Belt in the prizes could definitely still be a big deal for Travis for this next turn of the game.
It looks like Zachary does have the Galarian Moltres in hand. I can't quite make out the rest of the hand that Drizzile gets promoted to the active spot. Zachary going to go ahead and take a look at the discard pile, but I think this Marnie may have bought Travis some time.
Yeah, I think a double Turbo Energy and Boss's Orders were the 2 cards I saw in hand, as well as the Moltres. So that leaves 2 unknown cards. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of a better glance at the hand to see what cards have access. There's the minimum of the 1 energy off the training court, so we'll be able to at minimum grab that back. But from there, you don't need to deal too much damage. You're doing enough to knock out the Moltres, but what else is going to have to actually looks like rely off of maybe an energy switch to get this last energy into play. This capture energy will be able to search a basic out, so more importantly, gets a basic out, but also reshuffles the deck up to maybe some of those pieces that were at the bottom of the deck can be back mixed all over.
Yeah, we do see that Malevolent Charge for just the 1 energy, capture energy, the hard attachment, and then that finds the Sobble now. So doing some deck thinning, getting another Shady Dealings option on the board. It looks like we're going to see that quick shooting 5th and 6th damage counter on that Arceus V-Star, and yeah, Zachary just has to pass back.
He has access to nothing, and this is where Travis is going to start to thrive. As long as there's a way to get this Arceus off of the board, which because of that quick shooting damage is possible, and we see it right away. Sharon's Care, fan at the top of the deck. This is exactly what you need to get this 2-prize Pokemon, and Zachary's just going to go ahead and concede the game, go to game 2. Travis going to take it 1-0 up so far. Still a lot of Pokemon to play left. We're halfway through this round number 12 between both these players.
Yeah, and I mean, that's another kind of a testament to how these players understand their decks. They understand the strategy in each of their decks. They understand kind of how the rest of the game is going to go, where as soon as that Sharon's Care was revealed off of the Shady Dealing, Zachary is going, okay, yep, I need to move on. Let's go to game 2. I know that I can't win. Let's save some precious minutes here, as we are just under half the time remaining in the round after game 1. Just under 25 minutes remaining. And now we're in a position where if Zachary wants to actually try to get a win here from this round, he's going to need to play very quickly. We see that first game took up half the time of the round, so we're going to have to see maybe a little bit of the strategical change, definitely a little bit of the mechanical change to play a little bit faster, and hopefully we have 3 good games of Pokemon here.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it as legitimate as I can, as direct as possible. I don't think there's a way, unless there is a very quick victory for Zach in this game too, that this set will result in a win for Zach. This game is just a very long, gritty mirror match where both players are trying to set up their prizes correct, feed at specific times, set up math, but it looks like we have a mana fee start, but I think there are some other pieces like Arceus in hand, as we are going to let these prize cards laid out. Boss's Orders in the prize cards. We'll have access to 2 of those in the deck, so not the biggest deal. Sobble prize for Travis, as well as that energy retrieval could be a bigger deal, but nothing too detrimental for both these players.
Well, it's tough from Zachary's perspective too, right? Because I don't think if you're Zachary, you're supposed to concede that game really much earlier. Like, you have a chance of winning basically up until that last turn. So it's just, you're absolutely right. This game is grindy. It's a war of attrition, and it's just really unfortunate for Zachary the way that turned out. But we are off now into game 2. You can already see the pace of play has sped up here. We're seeing that Dunsparce start, Sobble on the bench. We're seeing it was 2 quick balls, it looks like, getting that Arceus and another Sobble hitting the board here. Manaphy start for Travis, who again is our game 1 winner, will be going second here. And no attachment from Zachary, just passes the turn back to Travis. We did the Arceus V immediately hit the board for Travis. Darkness Energy get attached.
Yeah, this hand is not looking very good besides this, though. Maybe has the Arceus V-Star in hand. A very smart play to actually open with the Manaphy. It makes it a lot harder for your opponent to have all the pieces to knock out this Arceus V. You'll have to now invest pieces to find boss's orders for the supporter for turn to dig through the deck. We'll have less digging power, rather, but first deck search for Travis. Just going to look through. Have to imagine feeling pretty good going up game in a pretty long game number 1. So this is where you're feeling pretty comfortable, you understand your game plan, you know what works. But I'd even say in that game 1, Zach was pretty favored throughout the majority. It was just that one turn miss. There is, in this format, in the standard format currently, there is so little room for error in a lot of these matches. One turn where you miss a piece, one turn where you're unable to attack, you miss an energy, and you can get punished very, very hard.
Absolutely. All of these cards are so powerful. And in a matchup like this, where the prize trade is kind of so important and both players are, clearly excellent players going to map out exactly how to win the game, you just can't afford to stumble at all. We see a level ball, no supporter played from Travis there.
Yeah, that was a big miss for Zach. Missed the turn 1 energy, which is a very big deal. Means there will be no turn 2 Trinity Charge unless we see something like the energy switch in combination with the Galarian Moltres. So that may be what Zach is eyeing up, but there's so many pieces you need. You need the energy attachment for turn. You need the Moltres to get down to energy. The energy attachment also needs to be a double turbo energy.
Right.
From there, you need to also have the Scoop Up Net to switch the Dunsparce out of the active. And for all that, for what? To knock out a Manaphy? And then it's kind of like you're on pace at that point. It still just feels like such an investment piece.
Yeah, exactly. You're kind of changing your strategy in a lot of different ways in order to accommodate that play, and it might not be quite worth it there. We do see that Scoop Net moving the Manaphy out of the active before the Professor's research. So now Arceus V-Star with that Big Charm is in the active spot. We do find that double turbo energy, but again, without some Galarian Moltres plays, which I guess probably are possible with this Starbirth online, we might just have to end up seeing kind of a lackluster pass there. We see Zachary kind of shaking his head, saying, trying to deciding what to do here with the cards remaining in his hand. Never an easy decision when you have that turn 1 energy miss. Looks like we are going to see an Ultra Ball get rid of a Sobble and an Evolution Incense. Just get that Arceus V onto the bench. Now we're going to see the V-Star power get activated. We are going to see that Galarian Moltres and the energy switch. Actually, he has he is going to commit to the play here. He just needs 1 Dark Energy in hand. Then we see, there we go, Moltres, Malevolent Charge, move the energy off, and now, we're seeing the exact play that you described. And at the end of your description, you said, oh, all that just to knock out a Manaphy. And all that really is a big cost. That you see, we've seen Starbirth throughout this tournament get exactly, get things for the future, get a Marnie, get things like Path of the Peak and other decks. And now we're just seeing kind of just enough to kind of put Zachary at the kind of even pace.
Wow, a huge top deck there for Travis. Finds the Marnie to bail out of the almost unplayable hand. I'm just going to straight up say it. Unplayable hand for Travis. What Zach needed, there was a quick win here to potentially force a game 3 in enough time. And we'll have to see what this grabs. So many options. Has the ability for the level ball to find the Evolution Incense, can find the Evolution Incense, can find the Arceus. And there's the Arceus V-Star. Huge time grab, has level ball as well. Ultra Ball, plenty of cards. The other Arceus. Everything is in this hand here for Travis. Things are looking very, very solid.
Yeah, that Marnie, absolutely huge. Putting Travis right back into this game and kind of erasing the hopes that any hopes that Zach may have had of finishing this game very quickly here. Just Arceus V-Star, the fact that you can just find it with your Ultra Balls, the fact that once you find it, you have this Starbirth ability, it just puts everything online for you. And it looks like we are going to, get ready, settle in for a more traditional game, except one where Zachary is already down a game and has used a lot of his resources here just to have that kind of basic start that a lot of players are hoping for. We do see that V-Star marker get flipped from Travis. We're going to see yet another Starbirth. Looks like double turbo Sobble might be the choices here. Double turbo, kind of a natural one there.
The Double Turbo going to easily be one of the 2 cards grabbed. Has a lot of search options the following turn. Looks like eyeing up the Level Ball and the Ultra Ball in hand. So has plenty of options to start things off, but Level Ball, again, getting Sobbles to play, or even a Drizzile as well, can guarantee either an Evolution Incense piece or potentially a way to recover this Drizzile line for the following turn. But I feel like you wouldn't grab Drizzile to grab Scoop Up Net if your game plan is to go ahead and involve that. So looks like Travis kind of just reconsidering the options. I do like Evolution Incense as a grab. I like the way to maybe draw more cards as supporter. I like the ability to maybe have an out to Sharon's Care. Having 2 Sobbles in play or having now a Sobble and a Drizzile in play is going to give you those options for sure.
It looks like Scoop Up Net is the grab off of the Shady Dealings. There, we're going to see that Sobble onto the bench. We are going to see that Double Turbo get attached here. Trinity Nova. 3 more energy, you got to imagine, are coming down to this benched Arceus V. And action is back on Zachary again. Players wasting no time here. We see a boss's order. Is that a boss's order on the Drizzile?
Yes, that is a great play from Zach. Bring up the Drizzile, understanding that piece grabbing the Scoop Up Net for safety, just in case next turn to reuse the Drizzile with the Scoop Up Net to guaranteed find the trainer card needed out of the deck. And this will leave Travis with an Ultra Ball to grab this Pokemon at this point, which is still fine, but discarding some of these key pieces in hand could be a big deal. Has to actually discard the Scoop Up Net found off that Drizzile. That's not going to feel pretty good.
Yeah, both of these players playing really quickly there. We did kind of see a shortcut there. The boss's orders on the Drizzile. The knockout of the Drizzile. Now we immediately went back to Travis's turn, where, as you said, Ultra Ball using up all the resources in hand to find that Drizzile, and a Drizzile of his own. And now that Shady Dealings finds a Professor's Research. So Travis is going to go ahead and refill that hand. 7 fresh cards. And what is he really looking for off this research here, Ethan?
Have to imagine some more Sobbles, continuing to be able to get those Inteleons out into play later on in the game, some pieces later on. Quick Ball is a great way to start things out. Can just get rid of these pieces that are unneeded, such as the Dunsparce in hand. Eyeing up the Sobble already. Still has access to Galarian Zigzagoon potentially later on in the game. It was discarded turn 1. We haven't seen a Clara played from either player as well, so the resource management has been pretty solid for both players, not needing to extend so much because this matchup is pretty slow back and forth.
Yep, and there is the Trinity Nova, 200 damage, and the knockout for Travis, taking 2 prizes here. We see Zachary immediately promote that other Arceus V-Star, play the training court, and Marnie that hand away. So we've seen Marnie play a very big role in this match so far. It's a very huge role player in the standard format. Disruption element draws you some new cards, just kind of everything you want in that kind of disruptive, controlling supporter here. And action is on Zachary as the clock ticks down to 15 minutes remaining in this match. It's a capture energy, it looks like, going attached to the Galarian Moltres.
Yeah, the capture energy in the Galarian Moltres, not the best target for that energy. Will not be able to utilize any more energy switch. Had to expand that resource early on in the game, so can maybe slowly power it up over turns. The very rare instance of the Galarian Moltres being a slow to power up attacker. We usually see it come down and attack the same turn it's put into play. But
yeah, Galarian Moltres, the old-fashioned way.
For sure, for sure. The training core coming down too means energies will be able to be recycled for both players. I have to imagine that benefits Zach more, knowing that this card will just stick and play for the rest of the game. But you do always have to consider, well, how can my opponent really utilize this card? And they can start by just grabbing energy off right as I speak.
Absolutely. Again, both of these players playing at a brisk pace, trying to make sure that they can finish this match or at least get as far deep into it as possible, have a good, honest match here. So the Evolution Incense from Travis here. Going to eye up that Inteleon with Shady Dealings, and then kind of, again, as these players are known to do, kind of thinking about, okay, well, once I get the Shady Dealings, what am I going to get? Kind of a little bit of shortcutting here, kind of saving that energy in between shuffles, and really just taking some time to consider, okay, well, exactly, what do I need to get here? It's not easy, especially with the Inteleon. You have an option of 2, so you have to think about the synergy between those cards, how you can use those cards in combination. Maybe you're getting 2 supporters, or maybe you're even a very common thing right here is we see Travis doing anything a supporter and the Scoop Up Net, which you could reset the Inteleons for later. So just a lot of decisions to be made with each and every Shady Dealings activation here, and it looks like it is going to be that Sharon's Care and the Scoop Up Net.
I really like this turn to be the Sharon's Care turn. You're not in a prize race where you're trying to force your opponent prize cards. You can reutilize this, and more importantly, you can also get the big charm down onto this Arceus on the bench. I think it's probably important to keep it so it is not anywhere near being knocked out. As we do see that, the double turbo energy come down means that Sharon's Care is also technically a possibility the following turn, and of course, Squim to end things off can also end the turn with the Shady Dealings to grab another trainer card, maybe the Pal Pad to put back in these supporters. That could be a very solid grab. You're going to be putting Sharon back in anyway, so it seems pretty solid.
It looks like Travis eyeing up a few different options here, maybe considering going with a level ball to get another Drizzile for next turn to have the kind of 2 Shady Dealings option. He has a huge hand here, the Galarian Moltres with the 2 Darkness energy all ready to go for when that portion of the games comes, and it looks like that Shady Dealings does find the level ball, finds the second Sobble actually, just saying, okay, I want to load my bench up here.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy in hand and a Galarian Moltres. There is sort of a weird niche line you could take to utilize this Moltres earlier on. You know that your opponent's mainly going to be prioritizing taking care of these Arceus, otherwise you're more than happy to swing through. And this is why I like that line of play right now. Get it down to play. Don't have to worry about Marnie not being able to pull the combo off. If it gets knocked out, you can just play Clara to recover it back, and you get more Sobble into play. And the scary thing is, you do leave yourself with a hand that if this Drizzile is knocked out for some reason, you have no way to search out any trainer cards, but at the same point, you don't have to heal any damage, you don't have to find Sharon's care, you don't have to draw cards, you're more than happy to just continue attacking and applying pressure.
All right, we do see that Malevolent Charge happen, so now we have the 2 energy on the Moltres, and then we also see off the Trinity Nova the energy get attached to the benched Arceus as well. So we're seeing just kind of Travis have his board fully loaded up there. Palpad is going to be defined off the Shady Dealings for Zachary, Marnie, and Boss's Orders, it looks like, are getting shuffled back into the deck.
Correct, yep, both of those cards. It looks like Zach is trying to go for a more aggressive game plan in this matchup, while Travis prioritizing utilizing Sharon's care multiple times with that Palpad. Eyeing up the Drizzile Shady Dealings, going to go ahead and evolve into that Inteleon, and this could signal that Boss's Orders plus the Scoop Net being grabbed. Very nice play from Zach. Not very surprising here.
That's exactly what's happening, saying, okay, you played the Galarian Moltres down. I'm going to go ahead and Boss's Order it right up, hit it with the Trinity Nova, knock it out, go down to, looks like 3 prizes remaining for Zachary, a bunch of Drizzile and Inteleon, and a Galarian Moltres of his own on the bench. And now Travis is going to take a second, consult Zachary's discard pile, say, okay, what resources have you used? What's left in your deck? You know, what could potentially be in your hand? Going to make that decision before he promotes. Ultimately, he is going to promote that Arceus V-Star with 3 energy on it from the bench.
Yeah, absolutely. Going down to 3 prize cards remaining. Action, though, on Travis is in an excellent position. Can go down to 2 prizes of the own. This is where you got to be careful, though. The more prizes you take, the more Malevolent Charge is doing, especially, or rather, Fiery Wrath is doing. Malevolent Charge, not the way that Zach wants to power up this Moltres, but didn't really have an option, as you had to utilize that energy acceleration on the ability to energy switch early on in the game. Again, the early burning of resources, you had to apply pressure. It's just unfortunate that it was at such a cost.
And now it's kind of in an awkward position as we see Travis recur that Darkness Energy with the Training Court, where, like you said, this Arceus can take a knockout on the Arceus going into 2 prizes, but then, as you can see, there's no 2 prizers on Zachary's board, and we do have that Galarian Moltres, which is going to punish your opponent for taking too many prizes. So a real decision here about how Travis wants to navigate the next couple turns of this game. Looks like he does go with kind of the straightforward play. There's the knockout, 2 prizes remaining. We see Zachary is going to go ahead and immediately promote that Galarian Moltres.
Yeah, so not dealing enough damage yet. I don't think the only possible way to be able to get this to work would be an Inteleon ping with that quick shooting. That brings the Arceus to 260. Malevolent Charge, or Fiery Wrath is dealing 220 damage. That brings it to 40 HP remaining. And then you would need something like a Choice Belt to bring that to 10 HP, and a Galarian Zigzagoon to finish it off. So we'll see if Zach is able to piece all those pieces together. Starting off with a Scoop Net and a Shady Dealings is a great way to get these pieces, but consulting the hand, looking at what there is, I don't see Choice Belt, I don't see Zigzagoon, I don't see the quick shooting Inteleon. There's a lot of pieces that are missing.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Zachary's going to go ahead and take a, he's been playing very, very quickly throughout this game, trying to make sure that he can finish, but he's going to really take some time to think here with the Shady Dealings here. And was the Scoop Net the choice there after Shady Dealings?
I'm not sure if anything has been eyed up yet. I know the Scuba Net was played to pick up the other Inteleon so far. So this Drizzile that is in play is fresh. It can evolve into either another Shady Dealings Inteleon, or I'm sure Zach would really like to get that quick shooting Inteleon out. But it looks like actually eyeing up Marnie now, maybe in combination with a Choice Belt to try and just naturally draw into the Zigzagoon. That way you'd have to find Zigzagoon plus quick shooting, and that could be very difficult.
Looks like Marnie and Choice Belt are kind of the options that Zachary is going through. Again, the long kind of convoluted series of plays needed to potentially get a knockout on that you described to get a knockout on this Arceus V-Star may not be kind of possible or very relevant here, depending on the cards remaining in hand. And it looks like Marnie is going to be the option here.
Yeah, I'm
followed by the choice spell.
Yeah, I'm trying to see fanning through the deck. I feel like I didn't see the quick shooting. I don't know if I remember that getting discarded early on. I feel like Zach would really prioritize keeping that in the deck, not in the prize cards. So it will either be in discard pile or be in the deck. I'm sure Zach would like that card to be in the deck. Cannot really afford to utilize Clara this turn with what is available. Eyeing up benching the Arceus down. Looks like we'll actually eye to bench the Arceus up. And it looks like Travis being a good friend saying, I know you didn't mean to play that down at the board. I'm going to let you take it back at this point. It's still in a dominant spot. And there's the energy attachment from hand, it looks like. Has not utilized Trading Core yet. Can get some pieces down. Needs to find the quick shooting Inteleon plus a Zigzagoon. That will be the 250 damage from the base, the 20 damage from the Inteleon quick shooting, and the 10 damage from the Zigzagoon will knock out this Arceus V-Star. But that's got to be a lot to ask for here.
All right, let's see if Zachary can hit it. 5 cards off the Marnie here. Very possible. Hiding his cards from the stream. Doesn't want to quite reveal to us yet. I did see the Zig.
I think I see the Evolution Incense in hand. I'm not quite sure. Let's see if the pieces are there. I feel like with how much time is remaining, Zach would just throw the cards down, but no, just has to go ahead and attack with this attack this Arceus. And this is an excellent spot for Travis. Can now go ahead and take a knockout on this, and from there you are in no way or shape really threatened from losing. As long as there's a Sharon's Care, and that Inteleon being thrown down means that we could see something like the Pal Pad and another way to get Sharon back, maybe like level ball to be able to search it out of the deck, and that's what's getting fanned right away. Pal Pad is the big key, already has level ball in hand. I think with this Arceus being picked up, this may spell trouble here for Zach. Travis is looking like in a dominant position to close out game number 2.
Absolutely. We said it was going to be a lot to ask for Zachary to, to win this game in short fashion. And then even on that last turn to put together the knockout, it didn't end up happening. And now Travis is back into a dominant position. We are seeing Palpad and one other card come off the Shady Dealings now. It looks like it might be the Energy Retrieval there.
Yeah, a lot of gold energy manipulation cards in this deck.
Couldn't quite tell which one it was, but it does look like it is going to be the Energy Retrieval. There's the Pal Pad from the hand. Immediately played the Sharon's Care as predicted, and then the Marnie is the other option. So very, very standard play here.
And we'll see this get grabbed right away with the level ball, grabbing the Drizzile out of the deck. Sharon's Care picking up. I think the only play Zach was going for is if this Arceus stays in play. And yeah, Zach is just going to go ahead and concede.
And concede. Travis Beckwith wins this match, advancing to 10-1-1, giving himself a very good chance of making the top 8 here. Whenever you're at that 10 wins point, it's kind of feels very nice. And unfortunate way for that to happen from Zach. I kind of felt like he was a turn away, or maybe a few different cards off the top away every single time. But congratulations, Travis Beckwith. Really, really well played. And that was a really fun, kind of grindy, attrition-based match.
You see how long these Arceus mirrors can be when they're Sharon's Care back and forth and the late game setup. It's really intricate to watch. And if you're looking to get into piloting this deck, that is an excellent match to study because you saw 2 different routes. Zach going for a more aggressive, I'm going to try to boss his orders up your setup pieces, your Drizziles, your engine to essentially find these pieces. And Travis was going for more of a consistent, steady approach of, I see I can heal this off, I can pick it back up, I know the exact turns to remove the damage into play. It's going to be excellent to see how these players continue throughout the day and really understand how their decks work. It's a great show match to just go back, watch, review, and learn a lot from.
Absolutely, and we will have an interview with our winner, Travis Beckwith.